Don't you hate wrestling with predictability? The garbage man, the sexy boy, boring ass TV? How did I get to work in here? Somebody tell me, please. The WWF is confusing to me. With Vince as mean as you've ever seen. I told old Patterson I'm done here in June. When a sudden voice inside me whispered, Vinny, don't sell your dream so soon. And everywhere I look, there's a Ted with a hand to hold on to. And everywhere I look, there's a place and a promotion who needs you. And it's there you'll book when you're lost out there and you're all alone. And WCW's waiting to carry you home. It's there you'll book. And it's there I'll book. A doobity-ba-ba-ba, headed to Atlanta and listen to this podcast. It's all right, even though it fucking makes fun of everything I've ever done. Backbone Wrestling Network, welcome back to episode 35 of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? I'm Scott Schifflet. Joining me as always, Logan Crossland. Logan, how are you doing, buddy?
Almost sounded like you called yourself Shot Skifflet there. That would have been a hell of a thing. But fucking up your own name in the intro, that would be quite something. But yeah, happy to be here as always. We recorded last night and had a hell of a time, so I'm expecting nothing different here, especially with that hot start.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened, guys. I was trying to my friends here with the podcast call me Schiff. For some reason, I was trying to introduce myself as Schiff, even though I never call myself that. And my brain was moving too fast for my mouth, or my mouth was moving too fast for my brain. Some would say it's probably both, but yeah, that's where we're at tonight. Off to a hot start, log jam. But you doing okay?
I'm doing well. It's getting towards the end of the week, so headed towards another fun weekend. So we'll see what the rest of the week holds. And got a big birthday party for the kiddo this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, nice. I'm gonna crash it. I'm just gonna show up, and you're gonna see me there, and that's all. I live states away, everyone. I do know Logan's address, but that's because I sent him a Christmas card. But let's jump in before I get myself in more trouble.
I do think you are the second closest person to me, so you actually could make the trip somewhat okay. Not too bad.
Yes. Tell Emily, sorry, we're not going to watch UVA versus Cal this weekend. We're going to make a trip.
You can still watch. You just gotta come to the house.
Yeah. So Logan has ESPN too. We don't. So last episode we talked about a Nitro. We did not skip a Thunder. WCW seemed to skip a Thunder. I haven't been able to find out why. I read the two observers the previous week and this week, and they're just like, there's no Thunder. Dave doesn't even mention it. I don't know why. But we were left on a cliffhanger of Stone Cold Steve Hogan was about to whoop Vince Bischoff's ass. And Bret Hart came into the ring and was about to hit someone with the chair, and then we cut to black. So nice little cliffhanger. They're keeping Bret around. I'm not sure if they knew he was already done looking. Do you know if they knew he was done, or just like we got to get some money out of this man?
I think they, probably a little bit of they kind of owed him some money, and they kind of wanted to get something out of him. I don't probably think they knew exactly the full extent of his injuries, maybe. And we're still trying to kind of test the waters, kind of keeping him on TV, but maybe not using him too terribly much. But yeah, maybe just didn't know the full extent of like what was really going on. And they just started to kind of learn as it went on, and wanted to get their money's worth out of him, really. Yeah.
Because I had no idea. I know he shows up in August. Spoiler alert for New Blood Rising. I'm pretty sure he shows up there because that's in Canada. I didn't know that he showed up anymore, but they sort of made him like a focal point, as we'll get into. So that's where we left off on a cliffhanger. But the show, we'll dive in right now. The show kicks off and we see highlights of last week of DDP versus Jeff Jarrett, Kidman being killed by Hogan terrorizing Bischoff, where he said he was going to eat his ass again. Sting destroying Vampiro, Nash taking out Awesome, and the Scott Steiner versus Jeff Jarrett match ending with Booker T interfering. And finally, like we mentioned, with Bret about to use the chair, it definitely seemed like the Millionaires Club was, gave the New Blood their comeuppance last week. So we'll have to see if that starts off. But we start off hot. We see Vampiro and Sting fighting backstage. They're just like, no one really gets an upper hand. Sting actually throws Vampiro into pipes and a ladder, which are dangerously backstage. Those backstage pipes and ladders might be the second most deadly place besides the NXT parking lot. But yeah, I knew you love that one, Logan.
Nothing's more dangerous than the NXT parking lot.
I know, like that's what I'm saying. It's the most dangerous place in wrestling. So Sting starts to walk away, but Vampiro actually hits Sting with a pipe and leaves him laying. We are told we are in Rochester, New York tonight, and the opening pyro kicks off, and they say we will see what happened with Bret Hart soon. They're really milking this with all their worth, and we're actually kicking things off with the match, which is a hardcore title match, and it's Terry Funk. He starts walking out, and Bam Bam Bigelow jumps him in the aisle. So it's Terry Funk versus Bam Bam. Then Cat runs down and starts beating up Bam Bam and Terry with the trash can lid. But then Bam Bam just hits Cat with a punch, and Cat just like walks away to the aisle. Bam Bam and Terry fight around the ring. Bam Bam rolls Terry in, and we see Cat in the aisle watching. I don't know why he's not whooping Bam Bam, but he's being a cuck right now. If I'm being honest, Bam Bam throws the trash can in the ring and then beats Funk down some more. He puts the trash can over Funk and starts hitting Funk with the steel chair hitting the trash can with the steel chair. Catlin decides I've seen enough. He slides in the ring and hits a flip heel kick and takes out Bam Bam. Funk falls backwards on Bam Bam, and that's how Funk wins. And after this, Cat gets on the mic and says, "Play my music," and he dances. So like this really like they're trying to tell a story like the New Blood's trying to take the title off of Terry Funk, but he keeps winning. But it's like you have your New Blood guy fuck up, and he doesn't even like try to break up the count. He just lets Terry Funk win. They're making Terry Funk look like a jobber. Like he's just we've literally seen him since January, Logan, get his ass beat around this ring. Like that squash match versus Nash, it was just ridiculous. But what did you think of the start with Vampiro and Sting fighting backstage, upping their feud, and now this hardcore title match, which lasted about 2.5 minutes, and Cat being dumb?
Yeah, they kind of actually let Vampiro not look like a complete bitch here because he does actually get the last shot with the pipe. He doesn't really floor Sting, but he does kind of knock him back a little bit. But yeah, Funk just looks like an absolute like a rookie kind of wrestler that's kind of getting lucky in these situations. He just gets his absolute ass beat throughout this. Cat kind of looks stupid for kind of waiting to attack Bam Bam. Obviously, Bam Bam took his title shot or his shot in the U.S. title tournament from him at Spring Stampede. So he tries to get a little bit of revenge, but Bam Bam pretty quickly hits him with a weapon and kind of, takes him out for the time being. I did like Funk getting stuffed in the trash can and getting smacked with the chair a few times. The cartwheel kick, is what I called it, that Cat hit to the chair was pretty cool looking. I've never really seen that kind of move done, I guess. And yeah, Funk just happens to fall into the pinfall. And of course, Ernest Cat Miller dances with his special shoes after the match. So, yeah, kind of, just your random hardcore affair or your standard hardcore affair. So not too much, but I like the kind of opening brawl. And then, there were a good enough few weapon shots, and that cool cartwheel kick was pretty cool.
Yeah, but like it just makes no logical sense. But that's Vince
Oh,
Russo
absolutely.
booking. Speaking of no logical sense, next we have Dead Man Walking's music hits. Just kidding, it's Kidman's music, and he comes out with his ribs wrapped like he's DDP. He has a mic, and he says that Hulk Hogan last week, I dared you to meet me in the parking lot to settle so we could settle it man to man. Billy said Hogan realized that Kidman is more man than he could ever handle, and that's why he almost killed him. Billy said he's here tonight and says, if you think these people want to see the red and yellow, Billy says, I'll tell you what, Terry, you bring the yellow and I'll supply the red, your blood. Which didn't really make sense. Says tonight he'll start it, and at Slamboree he will finish it, brother. Now I like Billy Kidman, Logan. I like Billy Kidman. He can wrestle. Man should not be. Eric Bischoff should be talking for him. He should not be cutting promos because he's just so bad on the mic. And like it's like, God damn it, Hogan might have been right. Not about the flea market thing. He's a good wrestler. He could have been US champ. But like we enjoyed him at Sold Out, but it's just like he's not good on the mic. That's just all what it boils down to.
Yeah, it's almost like they rewarded him a little too heavily for kind of being there when others weren't. Yeah, he's awesome. He really came in clutch for him at that pay-per-view earlier in the year. And I think they kind of wanted to reward him with a big program, but maybe not immediately vault him to Hogan, maybe have him go through some kind of lower tier, Millionaires Club guys first or something like that. Maybe have him feud with like Luger or something like that to start off with, or, just somebody kind of on the lower tier of the Millionaires Club instead of going straight to Hogan. So he does seem kind of outmanned on the mic. He's not terrible on the mic for me, but he does seem kind of out of his element. And they don't give him the best material, so I won't kind of throw that on him. Kind of the corny lines with the red, he's saying he would supply the blood. I feel like he was probably given kind of a cheat sheet a little bit to go off of, and he just made the best of it. And he really couldn't do much with whatever they gave him. But yeah, we'll see how the match goes. But yeah, this didn't really inspire the huge Kidman push that I feel like we're headed towards.
Yeah, it's just like, oh my God, like I feel bad for you, buddy. But he also got to bang Tori, so his life really wasn't that bad. And they were married for a little bit, so at least he banged her more than once. Now they're divorced, so you're just like me, Billy. So we see Jeff. We see Jeff Jarrett, Kimberly, and Eric walking backstage. Eric passes the monitor and says that Kidman must be out of his mind. We have a commercial break, and we're with Norman and Russo. Russo says Norman can't beat Funk. Norman asks for one chance to do it, and Russo says it'll be you and a partner of your choice versus Funk at Slamboree for the hardcore title. So I guess Funk's keeping the title to Slamboree. So Jeff Jarrett music, I'll just move through and we'll just cover everything. Jeff Jarrett's music hits. Out comes Jeff, Kimberly, and Eric. They mention that Kimberly has papers in her hand. We see David Arquette front row. Jeff says, DDP, you want to be a movie star, and at Slamboree, you will star in my own movie. It's called The Chosen One Kicks DDP's Ass Up and Down a 3-tier cage. I'm not going to lie, Logan, that's a little wordy. We'll have to see what happened. He said he's going to be DDP's ass, and he's not going to neglect it like he did with Kimberly. A lot of weird ass play, Logan. A lot of weird ass play.
Lots of mentionings of ass just all throughout these last like 10 or 5 or 6 episodes that we've had.
Yeah, so I don't know, but Eric then gets on the mic and says, DDP, your wife is here tonight. She has a gift for you tonight. He then calls out DDP. DDP comes down and gets in the ring and says, Kimberly, what are you doing hanging out with these jagoffs? Kim says for once she's in the driver's seat. Kim thought her and DDP had something special. Kim said Eric enlightens her about a lot of things, her career, these wrestling fans, these stupid wrestling marks. But most of all, he enlightened me about you. Kim says she wants out of the marriage. She wants a divorce, and that's what she has in the papers. Kimberly's another one that should not be talking. Like
Correct.
she sucks on the mic. Um, DDP says she's out of her friggin' mind and said friggin', not freaking, friggin' mind, and says that they can work this out. Kim says stop begging and says be positive. It actually popped me. DDP says be positive that you lost your mind or you're a bitch. Eric says settle down. DDP says he'll sign the papers. Once he shoves them down Eric's throat, and then Jeff hits DDP with a guitar. One. David Arquette jumps in the ring and attacks Eric. Jeff throws David off of Eric. Canyon then runs down and saves David Arquette. Eric gets on the mic and says, Mr. Courtney Cox, you want to embarrass me? Eric says, you want to get in the ring? You will. David says, I want a 1-800 kick your butt. The crowd loves this. He was on those commercials at the time, Logan. That's probably before your time. David
I remember.
Okay, just wanted to make sure. David says if he pins Eric, then DDP will get a shot at the title tonight in the cage, which just so happens to be above the ring. And then Eric agrees. And I know where this is going, so it really upsets me, Logan. But this was actually a pretty decent angle right here. Like, David Arquette was good on the mic. Like, I enjoyed him. It's probably because I loved Dewey from Scream. But, like, I was like, damn, like, this, like, the crowd, like, wasn't groaning. And, like, you know, it was pretty fun. Like, Kim sucks on the mic, but I really feel like even Canyon just being DDP's, like, +1 has really elevated Canyon from fucking Champagne Canyon, in my opinion. So, like, I kind of enjoy this. I know where it goes, and I'm gonna hate it, but right now I'm enjoying it. Like, I'll probably hate it by the end of the night, but right now, at quote unquote 8:25, I'm enjoying it.
Mm-hmm. Just give it an episode. I'm sure you'll change your tone. Yeah, I thought it was a really solid segment. Really got the crowd hyped up, which is a lot to kind of say during this era. I think they were pretty hyped about this whole thing. DDP coming out and threatening to kick some ass. And Arquette actually coming out and beating down Eric for a little bit. So, if you're going to have him involved, I think this is kind of the way to do it. Have him kind of face the authority figures, because he can kind of be a comparable kind of person to them. He's not a wrestler either, just like Bischoff isn't a wrestler at the same time. So, and it gives you a night long angle. If Arquette wins, obviously DDP gets the title shot tonight. Like you said, we'll kind of see where it goes over the next little bit, and especially in our next episode. But a hot start for what might not end up being the greatest.
Yeah, it's gonna upset me, Logan. Like, I already know this. Like, it's locked in. Like, it's gonna piss me off. It's gonna be a rant, probably end all rants. But yeah, I enjoy it. I enjoy it. And so after that, we go backstage, and Chronic is threatening Russo and say they want their tag title shot tonight. They grab him. Exactly. And Russo says, get your hands off of me. You want a title shot tonight. You got it, but you have to do something for me. This leads us to a commercial break, and then we come back and we see Jeff and Eric in the locker room. Jeff says, are you out of your mind? Eric says, it's fine. It's David Arquette. Eric tells Jeff to go get Billy Kidman. So I don't really like that, like, Jeff's being like the fucking henchman for Eric. Like, Jeff's your world champ. Like, he should be like, you go to hell. You go get Billy. And then we see Sting searching for Vampiro backstage. So they're not really loading up the show, but they're keeping you interested and see what the hell's going on, even though there's a lot of stuff going on. I don't know. It's just a lot going on tonight, but it makes you want to pay attention. I will say that.
Yeah, it does make you kind of, pay attention to everything, because you don't want to miss a little detail that, Russo or Bischoff might have slipped in there. But yeah, Chronic continuing to kind of be a pain in Russo's ass is something I can enjoy. I've enjoyed them anytime they've been on screen so far. Minus Adam's promo in the last episode, but their physicality has been pretty good. So if we get another match with them, that definitely a positive for me. Jarrett kind of looks like a real pussy in this whole thing. He's seemingly just the stooge for Bischoff and Russo, and he's not really. He doesn't really get to make any choices for the group. He kind of gets them made for him, and he is seemingly put in two bad situations in back-to-back weeks. So we'll see if they can help get him out of it this time, kind of like they did last week. And then, Sting looking for Vampiro is another thing that'll kind of go on throughout the night.
Yeah, spoiler alert, Sting and Vampiro thing is an all-night angle, which I can't wait for us to talk about. So, match 2, it's Chris Candido and Tammy versus the Artist and Paisley. The way the chronons were, Logan, I thought it was just Chris Candido versus fucking Artist. They're like, no, this is a mixed tag match. And I was like, oh, news to me. But before the match, also, this might be the worst match that we've ever watched for the pod.
At least it was short.
Yeah, but it legit might be the worst match.
No, I don't disagree.
So Tammy asked if everyone missed her. She says it's about time WCW brought in a real lady and that knows how to titillate a woman. She calls out Paisley and says that she's back. Also, like I said, didn't know that Tammy was here. She's pretty thick and she looks pretty nice. The nipples were hard here. If you were paying attention. Yeah. She looks good. That's all I'll say. But the Artist slides in the ring and attacks Chris. The ref makes the woman go to each side. And then like a weird thing happens where like, I guess Chris didn't realize he was supposed to take a bump because he runs into the Artist and the Artist falls down. But then like 5 seconds later, Chris Lynn falls down. Just real bad. And then after this, the women get in the ring and both try to pin like the other men. Then the ref gets hit, of course. The women have a cat fight in the ring. While the men go outside, the ref pulls the women apart. Tammy goes up top and actually dives onto Chris and Artist, who was on the outside of the ring. And then Chris slides in the ring. The Artist follows. Tammy slides in the ring. The Artist follows and grabs her by the hair and then picks her up for her suplex and pauses to make sure that her skirt drops so we see her bare ass, but she's wearing a thong. So, we're seeing her pancake ass. So then Chris like interrupts the suplex and she falls down and like gets a pin on the Artist for a 2 count. My note here is I have no idea who's the legal person in this match. All 4 in the ring. It's a real clusterfuck. Chris clotheslines Paisley. It's like everyone is lost. Some reason Artist knocks Candido out of the ring with a punch. And then Tammy like does like a lap dance on Paisley, then sits on her, and the match is over. All-time bad match. Just a clusterfuck. Like, horror awful, as Sean said on Highway one time. Logan, like this, like, it was just bad. I guess the best thing we got to see Tammy, who looked pretty good. Not 97 Tammy or 96 Tammy, but she was doing pretty good here.
Yeah, Tammy still doesn't look too bad. You can definitely see she's had some years on her. I'll say she's been through some shit. We'll go with that. Her pulling out a top rope dive was not something I was expecting, so that was kind of crazy. Seeing her go up top and make the big dive. And yeah, a simple clothesline from Candido flooring Paisley for the win was pretty weak. I mean, I guess she's not really a wrestler, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, just a lot of chaos and not good chaos. You kind of never knew who the legal person was, kind of like you were talking about. And just, you have 2 non-wrestlers in there. Candido's good, but the Artist is obviously somebody we've kind of shit on for the vast majority of the pod. So, yeah, not a good matchup, not a good grouping of people here to kind of have something that you wanted to have people invest in.
Yeah, and then like I guess Tammy and Chris are supposed to be the dumbest fucking people alive because we go backstage and we see Sting still looking for Vampiro. Then Sting's music hits as Tammy and Chris are still celebrating like 2 minutes after the fact, and Chris has his back to Sting. So Sting slides in, Tammy like runs away, hits the Scorpion Death Drop on Chris, and he grabs the mic. He says it's showtime. He says him and Vampiro need to have another conversation tonight because it's Monday Nitro. Sting says, since you're a vampire, let's make this a first blood match. So he's challenged Vampiro to a first blood match tonight, which you got to love because it should be on the pay-per-view, which they have in like 2.5 weeks. So it's like just
why would they do that, Schiff? Come on.
It's just fucking stupid, Logan. So not only tonight we have a potential for a cage match, but we also have a first blood match. And it's
back.
It just hurts my brain. Yeah, back to back. Spoiler alert, guys, we're having a fucking cage match tonight.
Mm.
So yeah, just real bad. And then we go backstage to Canyon, DDP, and David Arquette. I'm just gonna start calling him David because I don't feel like saying his whole name. Canyon and DDP are hyping up David. They say that David will kick Eric, and he lets out a scream. Commercial break. We see highlights of what Sting just did. And then Team Package comes out. This leads us to match 3, Team Package versus Chronic. Flair is still in slacks wrestling. Luger has cut his hair, Logan. Don't know if you noticed that. That's what he'll have the rest of this run. I don't really like the short hair. I know Matt Souza's probably saying, "Oh, all his hair sucks," or however the hell he talks.
That was pretty close.
Yeah. So
maybe a little angrier.
Yeah. Luger sucks. Everything sucks. About Luger. So Chronic slides in and all 4 start battling. Chronic takes over. Miss Hancock comes down again and watches. All 4 are still battling in the ring. Buff Bagwell runs down and has a pipe. He hops on the ring apron, but Eric stops Buff, and Luger then hits him and starts attacking him on the outside. The ref is distracted, and Shane Douglas comes down and hits Flair with a bat. Chronic hits the double choke slam called the High Times, and Flair is pinned. After the match, Franchise and Buff beat down Team Package while Chronic watches. Buff and Shane tell Chronic to beat up Team Package, but they take out Buff and Shane instead because of the tag chants. And way to squash Ric Flair, guys. Like, when he's supposed to be in this big feud with Shane and with Russo. So this is a nothing match. Like, it's just showing Chronic's like on their own because, spoiler alert, Vince Russo turns Chronic into their APA, WCW's APA, basically. Just a nothing match. It just further. There's 3 feuds, maybe 4, with Shane versus Flair, Buff versus Luger, Chronic went in the tag titles, and Russo versus Flair with all this. So this was just nothing. This is nothing, Logan. Like, I think I spent more time describing everything than what actually happened.
Yeah, I'm kind of ready for, I don't ever hate seeing Miss Hancock, Stacey Keebler, whatever you want to call her, but she needs to eventually pick a team. I know she was kind of with Standards and Practices at one point, but she needs to actually do something. I'm tired of her just kind of showing up during these matches when there's really probably no chance she ends up with either of these groups. I mean, she might. I'm not sure, but like, she needs to pick a team and kind of support someone because it's kind of random that she keeps showing up in these matches. But yeah, the match didn't even really get to, percolate all that much. Buff and Shane pretty quickly come out and cause pure chaos. And like you said, Douglas uses the bat on Flair, and they slam him down with a big double choke slam to get the win. And it's good to see Chronic isn't joining one side or the other. I kind of think it's good to have those outliers in there. I think Booker could probably, benefit from being one of those guys, maybe even Steiner as well. I think there needs to be, kind of a separate pack of or a pack of like younger guys that may have been held back, but they don't really see, or their thoughts don't align with Bischoff and Russo. So I think it's good to have kind of some separatists that aren't really a part of either group. So Chronic fitting that mold is something that's interesting to me for sure.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought of that, Logan. It does add a nice wrinkle. So I'm interested to see where it goes. Because I thought they were with the New Blood. Who knows with Vince Russo booking? They might be with the fucking New Blood for all I know in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. So we go backstage to Mean Gene, and he's with Vampiro, and Vampiro accepts the challenge and says some riddle shit that I'm just like, not putting this down. But the gist of it was that he accepted the match. So then we go backstage, and Eric's with Billy Kidman, and he says that Billy is nuts, and he should listen to Russo and Bischoff. And Eric says, "We will lead you to where you need to be," which is like not near a fucking microphone. That's for damn sure. We take a commercial break. We come back. Mean Gene's with Billy, Tori, Eric, Kimberly, and Mike Awesome. Mean Gene asked why Mike is there. Eric said it's real simple. Hogan tried to kill Kidman. Awesome is the protection. Eric said Hogan needs to find a tag partner. He says that Hogan won't be able to find one. because Hogan's backstabbed everyone. And Eric also announces that Slamboree, he will be the special guest ref for the Kidman versus Hogan match. I do like the added wrinkle of Kidman and Awesome being together. We'll get to this match, which I didn't like, but I did like the aftermath more with that little wrinkle, Logan. Looks like Mike Awesome cut his hair, but it's really in a ponytail. Tony says due to the bat shots to total package that they are being sent to the hospital. So what did you think of all that, like with all, the teaming up of Awesome and Kidman?
Yeah, I think, Awesome could be kind of a heavy for Kidman. I think that could be a good partnership for them. They could even be a tag team if they wanted to be, or they, Awesome could just kind of take out the big bads in their world for Kidman and kind of help him out a little bit if they're going to be treated as heels. That is. So yeah, I like the partnership. I have a bad feeling it's not really going to work out for either of them, but I do think it was a solid idea to kind of pair them up together, kind of the big little situation. And if Kidman's going to kind of be the more top guy out of the two of them, Awesome is a pretty solid heavy to kind of have behind them.
1000%, Logan. I agree with that 1000%, buddy. So like I said, it'll probably just last us one fucking episode, but this leads us to match 4, which is Mike Awesome and Billy Kidman versus Hulk Hogan and question mark. Hogan is by himself. He slides in, and Awesome and Kidman start beating him down. Hogan has the FUNB on his jacket. I really don't know what that means, so Logan, you'll have to explain to me after this match. Hogan gets the advantage and beats down both men because, of course, he does. Hogan beats down Awesome and then whips him with his belt. Kidman's just on the apron watching, and every time Hogan goes towards Billy, Billy drops down from the apron. Awesome's able to get some kicks in, and then he runs into a Hogan boot. Hogan hits his leg drop, and then he starts choking Awesome, not going for the pin. Hogan goes back to whipping him. Billy just keeps staying on the ring apron and then dropping to the arena floor. Awesome's able to get the belt away from Hogan. He starts punching him with it. Hogan kicks him in the nuts. Then he clotheslines Mike Awesome. And Hogan mounts Awesome and starts punching him in the head. Hogan walks towards Kidman again, and he drops down to the arena floor again. But doing this allows Mike to get on the offense. He starts punching Hogan. Kidman jumps in. They do a 2-on-1 attack. Mike Awesome hits an elbow drop on Hogan, gets a 2 count. Then Hogan ducks a double clothesline, and he hits a double clothesline of his own to Mike Awesome and Kidman. So like this is just Hogan being like, you can never look like shit, guys. So sorry. Sorry, I lost track of thought. Lost my notes. Awesome was in the corner, and Hogan pushes him to the corner, and he does the 10 punches in the corner. Kidman finally attacks Hogan. It's just temporary as Hogan knocks Kidman out of the ring, and then Awesome attacks him and hits a splash for a 2 count. Awesome starts whipping Hogan with the belt again. I really thought, like, when this started happening, guys, that like my match restarted. That was not the case. Hogan then gouges Mike Awesome's eyes to stop the attack. He rakes his back and he hits the big boot again. Hogan then picks up Awesome and slams him and does an elbow drop. Hogan once again tries to go back after Kidman, but he drops to the floor. Hogan throws Awesome out of the ring, who starts chopping and punching him. He then throws Awesome onto the announce table. Hogan yells at Mark Madden while he's beating on Awesome. Mike Awesome is able to get on the offense and start beating on Hogan. It's temporary as Hogan reverses an Irish whip and throws Awesome into the guardrail. Kidman finally hits Hogan with a steel chair. Awesome and Kidman finally are able to beat down Hogan. Hogan actually does a blade job here. He's bleeding. They roll Hogan back in the ring, and Kidman's whipping Hogan with the belt. Kidman tells Mike Awesome to get a table. They set a table up in the ring. Awesome actually power bombs Hogan through the table, which I'm not going to lie was pretty cool. Then we go backstage, and we see Kevin Nash showing up and seeing what's happening. Kidman says to get another table to Awesome. Awesome throws the table in the ring. They set it up. Match is somehow still going, not DQ'd or anything. Awesome puts Hogan on the table. Kidman gets on the top rope and he hits a splash on Hogan. Kidman mocks Hogan's taunts and then hits a leg drop. Kidman pins Hogan and we finally get the 3 count. Then I guess Kevin Nash took a piss while he was heading out to the ring because the Wolfpack music hits and Nash comes down and takes out Kidman and Awesome. Nash was about to powerbomb Mike Awesome, but Tori hits Nash in the nuts. This allows Awesome and Kidman to post Nash and have his leg on the ring post, and Mike Awesome hits Nash in the supposed ankle that he's still recovering from with a steel chair, and they leave Nash and Hogan laying. This was about, I don't know, in a show that has a bunch of short matches, this is about 3 to 4 minutes longer than it should have been. It seemed like Hogan ran out of spots, and Kidman just kept looking like a bitch. I will say I did enjoy the ending with like the New Blood like whooping ass again, and I was shocked that Hogan did the blade job, went through the table twice, lost, and then they took out Nash as well. So Mike Awesome and Kidman might be a tag team we can get behind, Logan, even if it's for a week.
Yeah, probably gone next week based on our thoughts on it. But yeah, a solid tag team nonetheless. Hogan absolutely whoops their ass throughout the pretty much early stages and most of the match, just in general. He's by himself, but completely kicks the guy's ass. But Awesome's powerbomb through the table was good. I'm surprised Hogan took that bump, honestly. He actually goes through multiple tables. I was kind of shocked. But Nash obviously comes out, like you said, gets his leg wrapped around the post and gets smashed by the chair. So he's continuing to be injured and out of commission and stuff like that. But yeah, Awesome and Kidman, the tag team I can get behind. And Hogan, I believe the FUNB is him trying to be cool and saying "fuck you, New Blood." So I believe that is what that is supposed to
thank you, sir.
imply and mean. But it's his attempt to be kind of edgy. But nobody wants to see Hogan be edgy at this point. We've seen him be Hollywood Hogan. And I think people are kind of over that at this point. So they just kind of want him to be the hero again.
Yeah, red and yellow, not whatever shit this was. Yeah, it's just bad, Logan. It's just bad.
It's not good.
So let me see, but I can't get over this Kidman. Like, Awesome is like the protection. It's pretty fucking sweet. Him and Kidman, and it's just gonna piss me off when it's dropped by Thunder. So we see Kimberly, Eric, and Jeff walking backstage, and then we see Kanyon, DDP, and David Arquette walking backstage on the way to the match. Vince Russo loves those. Commercial break, we see highlights of what just happened, and this is leads us to match 5, which is something I never thought I'd type. Eric Bischoff versus David Arquette. If David wins, DDP versus Jeff tonight in a cage. I don't know if you noticed, but Arquette's Turnertron is just highlights from Ready to Rumble, Logan, which is a fucking cinematic classic. The match starts, and they circle each other. I've watched that movie so many times, Logan. It's not even funny. I own it somewhere. I think I lost it in one of the moves, but yeah. The match starts, and they circle each other. Jeff Jarrett grabs David Arquette's leg, and this leads to Eric hammering David in the back and then hitting with karate kicks. Eric's just stomping David. Now DDP is trying to coach up David. DDP gets up. David gets up and hits Eric with a spear because Eric was taunting. And then he does the worm and then like the elbow drop. And he gets a 2 count because that's, I thought it was actually the end of the match. And the ref is pulled out of the ring by Jeff Jarrett. DDP goes to attack Jeff Jarrett, but Jeff Jarrett moves and DDP hits the ref. DDP then hits, Jeff hits DDP with the belt, and then he gets in the ring with a guitar. Eric hits David in the nuts right here. Eric then holds David Arquette so Jeff can hit David with the guitar, but David moves and he hits Eric. Kanyon then runs down and attacks Jeff Jarrett. And yeah, 2, exactly. 2 guys. So Kanyon runs down and attacks Jeff Jarrett. Another ref comes down and counts the 1, 2, 3, and David wins. Somehow this was better than the Chris Candido match that I was talking about, and this was nothing to write home about.
Yeah, we get early coming out of Bischoff's karate expertise in this match. So big karate man, Mr. Eric Bischoff. He shows off those kicks and all that shit to start off the match. We get an Arquette spear and like you said, the worm. I figured the worm may be the finish as well. I'm not sure they really thought that one through as on the other channel. Too Cool's one of the coolest acts
Scotty
out
Too
there.
Hottie was doing it.
Scotty Too Hottie's like at the peak of his powers at this point, doing the worm. So I don't know how much they kind of vetted that through Arquette too much, but of course Jarrett pulls the ref out. We get like I said, our second guitar shot of the night. You saw it coming from a mile away. He holds Arquette, and obviously Bischoff's the one that gets nailed with it. But yeah, Arquette wins, gets DDP the title shot later tonight. And hopefully this is the last time we'll ever see Arquette. Just kidding. Not going to come true. So, but we will see where this kind of goes throughout the rest of the night.
Yeah. Like if that's all they did, that'd be cool, and just like turn it to like DDP and Canyon versus Jeff Jarrett and someone. Mm-hmm. But because like I said, it really feels like Canyon's elevated. Like he stopped like Jeff Jarrett attacking tonight, and then he does something later too. So like, seemed like I don't know, but it's like, damn, I'm turning into a Canyon mark. Who better?
Who better? Nobody.
So then the lights start flickering real bad. Like I thought, thank God I'm not prone to seizures. And then we see that Sting is up in the rafters. It's just like hanging out as like, whatever. And then we take a commercial break. We see highlights of what just happened again, because I guess they're realizing people are flipping over to Raw and not watching. But on this random Nitro, I say we're going to have a first blood and a cage match, so gimmicks galore. We go backstage to see Kane and David Arquette celebrating. He's interviewed by Major Guns, who they've taken away from Scott Steiner. He's trying to interview him. They're just celebrating. We see Jeff Jarrett yelling at Bischoff with Mean Gene. Jeff asks if Bischoff has a backup plan. Eric is blaming Jeff for what happened, and like for hitting him with the thing. And Jeff says, "Stop playing me, Eric." So more New Blood like disagreements here, which we haven't even seen Jeff and Russo together in a week. Like not at all. So it's like two separate sides of the coin. So Scott Steiner's music hits. He comes out with his freaks. Scott Hudson says, "Speaking of gambling, we're going to gamble here and have Scott Steiner on a live mic," which is great. Scott Steiner's just on all the steroids. Just fucking all of them.
Every one of them.
It's amazing this man's still alive. And I love Scott Steiner. It says, he gets on the mic. He says he was at Club, he's supposed to say Caligula, but he's like, Club, it was like me trying to say my own fucking name at the start of the podcast. He's like, Club Galaga. But he says he was hitting switches on bitches and they were calling him daddy. He says he's the big bad booty daddy. He says he came out of the door at 4:15. Says there's nothing finer than Scott Steiner. I thought he was going to say he came out of the door at 4:15 after fucking some whores, but that's not where he went.
Wouldn't put it past him.
Yeah, right? And he says he came to New York for two reasons. One, to find your jive-ass Booker T, and he's going to get his payback for last week. Says he's going to shove his foot up his ass, and he'd be flossing with his shoelaces. Scott says he doesn't care that he was trying to get on Vince Russo and Eric's good side. He's got on Scott Steiner's bad side and calls out Booker T. He then says he's going to have to kick his ass in New York because Rochester sucks, which just amazing.
Doesn't make sense at all.
This man should be the world champion right now, Logan. I shouldn't have to wait till the fall for this shit, man. He's just amazing. Sorry, it's still Booker, not Booker T, but whatever. Booker comes out and says, "This isn't Detroit, it's Rochester, New York." Booker says, "Let's not make this personal. What he did was business." He said, "We had Jeff crying, trying to get out his match with you," and Eric said, he's telling Booker, "You better do something quick." He says that Scott was in the wrong place at the wrong time. I put, who is the heel here? Booker's acting like a heel, and like Scott's like, "I have a valid fucking point," and I'm like, yeah. Scott, you're making a lot of sense right now, which is dangerous for me and you, that you're making a lot of sense.
Yep.
And then Booker says he's not going to apologize for what he did. He's his own man. Booker says if we can't get along, then we can just get on it, and climbs in the ring. Booker T tells the two freaks to get away from him. And Booker says, "Everyone in this arena knows if you put your hands on me, once you go black, you'll never go back." I was shocked that Booker said that line. I was like, God damn. Scott jumps Booker T and they start fighting. Booker gets an axe kick on Scott and starts pounding on him with punches. Scott flips him over starts pounding on him and punches, and they fucking cut to commercial break and probably the hottest fucking thing we have all night, Logan. And it's like, what the fuck, man? But before I let you go, it's like, I guess they were running low on time because we see that during the commercial break, they battled out around the ring and the security came and broke it up. But like, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, what are we doing? Like, this shit was pretty dope because like, we know it's coming. And like, this is the feud that like ends WCW. Now they didn't end it, but it's like the last big feud of WCW is Booker T and Scott Steiner. Hell, it main event of the last Nitro.
Yeah, it was a world title match on the last one. So, absolutely. Hot segment between two kind of up and comers that exist within the storyline of the kind of battle of the New Blood and the Millionaires Club. But like I said, they're kind of both outliers a little bit, especially Booker. I feel like Booker should be more of an outlier than Steiner is. At least Steiner's a champ, and Steiner's a champ because he was kind of picked to be a champ. But yeah, Steiner, always a flight risk with a microphone in the ring at this time. He definitely could have said what you said you thought he might say. Was this the first time he ever came out to the sirens, or have we heard that before? Because this is the first time I remember hearing sirens when he comes out.
He had them at Spring Stampede last week, so I think that might be the first time. I can't remember with that Russo one if he came out, because before he was just coming out with NWO music with our stuff. So,
yeah, I couldn't remember. Maybe I just didn't pay attention to it before, but I definitely noticed it here. They do name one of the freaks Medeja, so we do have Medeja here. I think I heard Scott Hudson mention her by name because she slaps Booker, and then him and Steiner obviously get into the brawl, and it leads through the commercial and all that, like you said. So, hot segment, kind of maybe cut off at the knees a little bit, but they might have been running short on time, so definitely makes sense. That they might have done that out of necessity. Maybe not something I would have cut short. Maybe cut short the handicap match earlier and give a little bit more time here.
Or the main event.
Or that.
I don't know. Just spitballing here.
You could have just cut the main event, honestly. Yeah.
1,000%. Oh, God. All right. So we see DDP getting ready backstage while Canyon and DDP talk. They're saying that DDP is going to win the belt. And we see Russo walk up to Shane and Buff, who are trying to leave. Russo says that they're having a match tonight against Chronic. They start protesting, and Russo says, I'm not asking you, I'm telling you. So trying to pull like a power play. Well, also he's scared of Chronic. So this leads us to match 6, which is Chronic versus Buff and Shane Douglas for the tag titles. Chronic's out first. Shane and Buff are out next. Tony says while Chronic comes out that at Slamboree it'll be Scott Steiner versus Booker T for the U.S. title. So right now, Slamboree's looking like a must-buy pay-per-view. We'll see if that changes. Spoiler alert, it does. So Buff is out next, and he's pissed. Shane is out next, and Russo comes out with Shane. They're both in street clothes. Buff looks like I really thought they were going to lose because Buff had boo-boo face Logan. Spoiler alert, guys. Russo gets on commentary. Buff and Shane are getting in the ring, but Chronic starts beating their ass. Russo says he's out here for a reason. Shane and Brian Clark start fighting and trade punches. Brian punches Buff, and then Shane hits a suplex. Shane tags to Buff, and Buff starts kicking Clark. Clark blocks a punch, and he kicks Buff. Buff reverses an Irish whip and then kicks Clark, and then Buff hits a swinging net breaker. Buff poses and taunts at Brian Adams, and then he tags to Shane, and they do a double elbow. Shane only gets a 2 on Clark after that. Shane picks up Clark and hits him with 3 punches. Shane pokes Clark in the eyes, and then he does an Irish whip, but then Clark grabs Shane and drops him throat first on the turnbuckle after the Irish whip. Both men tag out, and Brian Adams takes out Buff and hits him with a full Nelson slam, which actually looked pretty dope, looked pretty powerful. Shane interrupts the count. All 4 in the ring now, and Chronic is about to do high times on Shane, but Buff throws the ref out of the ring and stops the move. Chronic then throws Shane out of the ring, and they hit high times on Buff, so Buff took the bullet for his teammate. Russo then comes in the ring and hits Brian Adams with the bat. Brian Clark then takes out Russo, but then Shane grabs the bat that fell to the ground and hits Brian Clark with it. Buff and Shane then beat down the rest of the Chronic with the baseball bat. Nick Patrick's about to call for a DQ, but Russo hits Nick Patrick with the baseball bat for Starrcade 97. Buff then pins Brian Adams, and then Russo counts the pin, so I guess it's over. all over the place here. Like, to be honest, the first person putting their hands on Russo should not have been Brian Clark. That takes away all heat. Like, Russo should have been smarmy, like saying you can't touch me, and the first person should have been Ric Flair, not fucking Brian Clark. A week after like they debuted. That's just me, but what do I know, guys? But this was just a nothing match. Like, I'm shocked we didn't get a title change. I guess they were saving that for later. But yeah, I hopefully this is over. I, who knows? But yeah, the Batman saving the day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're going to rush to a title match between these two teams right here, you might as well have pulled the trigger, given Chronic the titles, and just made the Buff and Douglas versus Team Package feud to kind of be just a personal rivalry, not necessarily about belts or anything like that. But obviously, that's not in their plans. But that's maybe the way I would have gone with it because it doesn't really need the titles, and Chronic could use the big win. And to be probably champs to kind of build themselves up going forward. But yeah, this was a giant screwing fest by Russo. It was again another one of those kind of maybe not. It was a chaotic match, but maybe that good chaotic. Um, but yeah, Russo's just all over this one, completely involved. Ends up counting the pinfall at the end. So just a giant Russo-rific mess that could have probably been better if you just let them kind of go at it and have a match or have a regular match. But hopefully, you get that Chronic title win down the way, and hopefully it's not too far away, and we don't have to see Buff and Douglas be tag champs anymore.
Yeah, it's real bad. Speaking of real bad, Logan, and something that should have been cut so we see more of this Booker T and Scott Steiner fight. We see Tank Abbott walking backstage for a commercial break. Tank Abbott's on his way out. We see highlights of the past 2 weeks of Tank Abbott whipping ass. He calls out Goldberg again and says he should call his name to Bill Ghostberg. Tank says, look into my eyes. What do you see? You see a cult of personality? No, he doesn't. He says, look into my eyes and you'll see a real warrior. Tank says he's going to kick someone's ass again tonight. He says this is on Bill's shoulders. Tank walks around and goes to the announce team who back away. Mark Souza is freaking out saying, don't hit me, which was pretty funny. And then Tank grabs Bob Ryder from WCW.com because their announce table was real close to the announce table. So he beats him up and drags him into the ring and pounding on him. And Jeremy Borash, I guess who's a ride or die, goes in and jumps on Tank's back, and Tank knocks out Jeremy Lee, knocks out Bob Ryder. Security comes down and makes Tank leave. Mark Souza says, from this angle, this looks like a lot of fun, which made me laugh. And my note actually says Mark Souza right here. So this was just nothing. I guess we'll see Goldberg maybe take out Tank Abbott, or it'll probably be dropped because we know what happens, Logan. But all in all, just a nothing angle. Nothing angle.
Yeah. Two TNA legends, Bob Ryder and Jeremy Borash, show up in this segment. So,
God, Jeremy Borash looks so young.
Yes, he does look like a child, as he does for most of the early parts of his TNA run as well. So, yeah, Bob Ryder, big influence in TNA, obviously backstage and stuff. So, Jeremy, still working today, works for WWE, obviously now, but kind of cool to see those two guys pop up on the screen. Obviously, kind of fun seeing Jeremy get his ass kicked by Tank. I thought that was pretty funny. But yeah, both guys get absolutely knocked out. I hope Goldberg does come back and absolutely destroy Tank. That would be the ultimate payoff to this. But I have a feeling this one may get dropped. I don't know. I don't exactly remember when Goldberg comes back, but I kind of don't have a feeling we're going to get much of a finite end to this kind of calling out session that Tank's been doing lately.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Great American Bash when he returns. I know that
that sounds about right.
I know Grooney will tell me, so yeah. But
hey, he comes back in action. I'm just kidding.
I mean, not wrong. So we have a commercial break. Match 7, not the main event. The world title is not the main event.
Mind
Cage
blowing.
match for the world title. DDP versus Jeff Jarrett. Tony says the first blood will be the main event, which when you see it makes so much fucking sense. Um, I'm gonna say Logan spoiled this for me by saying Jeff Jarrett somehow does a fucking crowd brawl in a cage match, which I was like, great, got that to look forward to. So, actually, I think I responded, thanks for spoiling it. DDP is out first, and he climbs the cage, and he stands on top of the cage because the cage has a top. He then, I thought, climbed down, which he didn't. So then Jeff Jarrett comes out with Russo. Jeff goes to climb in the ring, but DDP slammed the cage, like kicked the cage door into Jeff. They're battling in the crowd during a cage match. This makes zero sense because the bell did ring. They hit each other with trash cans. They battle in the aisleway. Jeff reversed an Irish whip and throws DDP in the guardrail. Jeff drops DDP throat first in the guardrail. Then DDP throws Jeff down the aisleway. They battle in the aisle, but DDP finally throws Jeff in the ring. When DDP gets in the ring, that's when Jeff starts kicking DDP. DDP gets up and starts throwing Jeff into the cage. He does a catapult. He catapults Jeff Jarrett into the cage and then does 10 punches in the corner on Jeff. He only gets up to 5 before before Jeff drops DDP head first on the turnbuckle. Jeff is now stomping DDP. Jeff picks up DDP and throws him into the cage himself. He throws him in the cage again. Tony keeps hyping up the first blood match. I put in my notes, we only have 8 minutes left in the show. Jeff is still whooping DDP's ass in the cage. Jeff picks up DDP, but DDP reverses it and he starts punching Jeff. DDP throws Jeff into the turnbuckle and starts punching him. We see that Mike Awesome is trying to get in the cage like he's Mark Henry at that SmackDown. And then Jeff is back on offense. He hits a DDT and he tells Mike Awesome not to worry about coming in, which I thought was pretty nice. Jeff does the diamond cutter gesture and he picks up DDP to slam him, but DDP reverses and he hits the diamond cutter. The ref goes to count, but Mike Awesome rips open the door. Before he can stop the ref, Canyon runs in and attacks Mike Awesome. The ref hits 3 and DDP wins the world title. DDP, Canyon, David Arquette all celebrate. DDP is the new world champ. Russo is pissed. DDP, Canyon, David Arquette go through the crowd to celebrate. And we actually see a highlight of Mike Awesome actually did stop the count, but Canyon stopped him, and the ref still counted 3, which for the first time ever, I think fucking happened. But are we shocked that we've already had another title change, Logan, and it's the fucking world title in this nothing meaning cage match, which cage matches are supposed to mean that no one could fucking get in or out. And then we got people battling through the crowd, and then Mike Awesome coming in and doing it. It's just fucking awful. It's just bad. Like, happy for DDP. He's a 3-time world title champ now. Way to cut off Jeff Jarrett's, make him look like a doofus. He was already like a yes man for Russo and Bischoff, and now his, quote unquote second defense of the title, and he loses. But in his first defense, he almost lost. So like, looks like a pussy champ. Mm-hmm. Yeah, looks like a pussy champ. It's just bad all around. And like, there we go. Got Canyon saving DDP again. So like, Canyon, like, getting the fucking rub, buddy. But what did you think of this?
Yeah, honestly, if this would have led to Canyon getting a bigger push, I think it might have been somewhat worth it, because he's a guy that probably deserves a higher spot on the card, and he's getting a shot here to kind of be with DDP and kind of help DDP along. But yeah, crowd brawl in a cage match. I didn't know it was possible, but guess who? Jeff Jarrett is in the match, so we absolutely have a crowd brawl. I think DDP's actually kind of bad about this as well. He's a big crowd brawler as well. But despite it all, DDP somehow wins, like we said. I don't know why in history, like, the referee doesn't just like continue to count if they get hit, obviously they're supposed to be kind of knocked out. I don't know why he just kind of paused. Awesome started to kind of stop him. And then as soon as Awesome was kind of out of the way, he just hit again and it was a 3 count. So, I don't know why they don't usually do that, or, sometimes they like wait, they see like the person come into the ring. So they kind of stop counting. Why not keep counting? And, if they happen to hit you, it's not a 3, but obviously if you count, then it's just the 3 count, but yeah, Canyon and DDP escape through the crowd with the belt. So random title change, maybe not needed. Like you said, kind of cuts Jarrett uh, out under the, by his knees, kind of really cucks him as world champion. You give him the title, but you don't really get him, allow him to run with it. And if memory serves me, this is one of many title changes that we will see in the very, very near future. So, looking forward to seeing the world title bounce around a good bit here in the very near future.
Oh, I know it happens again.
And by look forward, I mean not at all.
We got 3 shows until it happens again. Yeah, this is just nothing. Like you've done a good job of making Jeff Jarrett like your chosen one. Make him be like corporate Rock. I know that's like a weird thing to say, but make him like Rock was very well protected during that, if memory serves. Like, yes, he was being a heel champ, but he was also winning by heel ways. Like, this just makes Jarrett look like a pussy. Sorry, it just frustrates me.
Well, I feel like once The Rock loses, he loses like every other month, but then he wins it back. So it's kind of, it depends on.
Yeah.
Depends on what kind of.
I guess that was a sign of the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just moment for the sake of a moment kind of situation.
Yeah. Probably didn't even pop a rating, which they were trying. Speaking of not popping ratings, do you like Bloodbaths? You like fucking Gangrel? You like all that shit? We're about to see our first dose of this, Logan. So we have 6 minutes left when this main event First Blood match is supposed to take place. 5 minutes left and the match hasn't started. Match 8, First Blood match, Sting versus Vampiro. Vampiro's out first. Sting is out next. Sting comes down from the rafters. Vampiro doesn't see it because the lights keep blinking. I guess he had a seizure. Sting comes down, but was unable to get unhooked in certain times, so Vampiro just starts attacking him, which I thought was pretty good. NWO in 97 should have done that. Vampiro throws Sting in the ring. Sting is able to get some offense, and he tried to close on Vampiro's top rope, but he didn't. Like, I guess Vampiro, I don't know. Not a lot of... It came out that, like, I guess they didn't really like each other when they were wrestling. Who knows what's real or not. On the second attempt, Vampiro's clotheslined out of the ring. Vampiro slides back in the ring, and Sting keeps attacking Vampiro, and Sting throws him out of the ring again. Sting doesn't even have his coat off yet, his trench coat off. Vampiro gets back in the ring, and Sting finally takes off his trench coat and throws it at Vampiro. They trade punches. Sting hits a suplex on Vampiro. We have 3 minutes left. Sting throws Vampiro out of the ring again. Vampiro then gets on the announce table, looks at Sting, and puts his thumb under his neck and then does the slashing sign and then points at him. Then does the thumbs down bit, and it's not the cool thumbs down like Batista did at Triple H. It's a thumbs down where Sting is hit with a red blood, which they're calling red liquid, which fucking takes Sting out. It looks fucking gross. It's literally everywhere. Vampiro comes down and hits nail in the coffin and calls out the new blood. The new blood that comes out are just the champions, besides Billy Kidman, but it's Chris Candido, Shane Douglas, Kidman, and Buff Bagwell. They're doing their best not to bust their ass while they're trying to beat up Sting and throw him on the outside. And it seemed that they were supposed to get Sting on the outside, but Sting grabbed Buff and drug him to the ground so he would get some of the red blood on him too. I don't know if you noticed that, Logan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because they were friends, so I guess Sting was like, "Well, fuck you too, Buff." It just made me laugh because Buff's trying to get away from him, and Sting's grabs him and just sweeps his legs.
Coats it all over him. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they throw Sting on the outside, and then we see that Scott Steiner took his sweet fucking time coming down so he wouldn't be part of this.
No.
And which I'm not gonna lie was pretty funny. I don't even think he even hit Sting. The rest of them hit Sting and everything. They then hook Sting up send him back to the rafters, and they start pulling up Sting to make it look like he's being hung like Big Boss Man at WrestleMania 15. Or 15, and 15, and that's how the show ends, with Sting looking like he's being hung. He's drenched in blood. Vampiro stands on the guardrail and kicks Sting, but then he eats shit on that. The camera cuts away real quick. but just a real sloppy ending. Now we see why the main event was the first blood match. We got our first new blood bloodbath. First of many, but like it was bad. Like this was just a nothing match, like just brawling. But they got to get their shit in. What'd you think of this quote unquote main event match?
Yeah, it was a mess for sure. I think Vampiro just doesn't have it. They didn't wrestle for all that long either, so I can't even really say that, I guess. But yeah, they obviously they battle for a little bit, and a Vamp eventually goes outside, and the blood spills from the ceiling. Obviously, Sting is basically rendered useless once he gets the blood or slime or whatever you want, the red liquid all over him. And he is fucking coated in it. Like, it is fucking all over this man's
It's so
body.
bad.
He is drenched. It's honestly gross a little bit, but like you said, the rest of the new blood comes out, beats him down. He gets in a few kind of receipts there with Buff, like you said, kind of getting the shit all over him. No shock that Steiner takes his sweet time. I'm surprised he even came out, or even if he did, he even got involved at all. But yeah, I try to not be too sensitive with stuff like this, but did you think it was a bad idea to kind of like have him hanging bloodied from the ceiling like less than a year after?
Yes.
Yeah.
Less than a year after Owen, and spoiler alert, something even worse fucking happens at Kemper Arena.
At the pay-per-view, yeah.
Where Owen fucking died, which I'm sure where many wrestling fans that were there when we saw a man lose his life makes it look someone else loses his life.
Mm-hmm.
I personally thought Sting should have stopped doing the Raptor stuff like after Owen died. But I will say that WCW was always like a whole lot more like safer, which is weird because WCW is usually like on the seat of their pants. But like you saw how he was hooked into that shit like every time. Yeah. So I'm doing a rewatch 97 right now, and like Sting was always like taking forever.
I think Sting like had a guy, like I think he had like a, whatever you want to, like a stunt coordinator. I think he had like a guy that he trusted that did his thing every time. So it was like, it wasn't just like a random, person that they brought in and contracted to do that like they did with the Owen situation. But I'm not even as upset with like the dangling part, but like him dangling covered in seemingly blood, probably not the best look. And obviously, like you said, the thing happens at Slamboree that we'll get to when we get there. But yeah, not the best look, considering that we're like less than a year after that.
But also think what Russo did. Like it was for shock value. Like we did the Boss Man thing that we talked about, and then like they literally hung like Stone Cold up there, on the cross.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which it's like, okay, so like that's what he's trying to do. But by this point, like when you do like this blood thing, like it's just dumb. Like they should have just had the lights go out, like Vampiro takes the lights out, and the new blood just beat his ass. There's no reason for blood. Like it could have been Sting's blood. Like just have the new blood whooping Sting's ass. That's how he knew blood. And then you can even like put him up on like the thing. But just like with the blood, it looked like Great Value fucking Carry, which I know you haven't watched. But that's what it looked like.
Yeah, not a good look, for sure.
Yeah, it's just bad, but it was a show. I will say I enjoyed it. It does go by very quick, even though I'm taking copious amounts of notes, as you guys can all hear. But yeah, that for most absurd, I guess I'm gonna put New Blood, First Blood match ending, and
that would be
start of David Arquette. For what was good, Steiner and DDP, which I believe is probably going to happen a lot.
Yeah.
What was bad, Candido and Tammy match.
Mm-hmm. And attempted promos by New Blood people other than Scott Steiner.
Yeah, real bad. But yeah, I kind of enjoyed this. I like where it's going with certain things. I know that history is going to fucking betray me, but yeah, I'm interested to see what happens on Thursday. We got the Bret Hart promo, which they said once at the start and never fucking mentioned it ever again. So yeah, but we had 8 matches tonight, guys. 1 clean finish, 7 non-clean or non-finishes. 0 pole matches. I was lied to about these fucking pole matches, Logan. So we got 5 pole matches total. We had 3 gimmick matches tonight. We're at 98 total. 2 guitar shots for 32 guitar shots total. 34 different things happened tonight. Remember, 44 is the 2-hour record. Titles changed. We're up to 45 different title changes already. And that is the world title that changed hands. So we're at 45 different title changes, Logan. And you think we hit 100 by the end of this? We're definitely going to hit 100, right?
Title changes. I don't think we'll get that high, but I think we'll get in the higher double digits for sure. I don't think we'll quite hit 100.
I mean, that's all the belts, so that's all I'm saying. Like,
yeah, well, we'll see. Maybe we will, but we did lose the TV title, so we don't have that one anymore. So like I said, I think we'll get into maybe the 80s or 90s, but I don't think we'll quite hit. I don't think we'll quite hit 100. Quite. I don't think so.
Yeah. Anything else you want to say about this episode before we get the hell out of here? Oh.
And we might have another title change on our next episode too. So.
Oh my God.
Not the greatest episode for sure, but it definitely had some parts about it. Definitely kind of looking forward to seeing what Slamboree could bring. Hopefully it ends up being a pretty solid show. I don't know much about it. That's not one I'm super familiar with. So, I as bad as the TV is sometimes, I think the pay-per-views actually can be done well in this kind of scenario because he kind of books for one night a lot of the time. So if he books well for that one night, it kind of works out. It kind of can work out well, but things need to be given time. Things need to be, given the right amount of, leeway to kind of just do what they can do, wrestle the way that they can wrestle. So yeah, I mean, pay-per-views are always interesting to go into, but we'll see where your mental state is after this Thunder we're about to cover on our next episode. So,
we'll
see how that goes.
Oh no, I know there's one coming up that's like all-time bad. I don't know if it's this one though.
We'll see.
Oh God. Well, that brings us to another end of Are You Smarter Than Vince Russo's WCW? For Shot
we may only have one more episode.
Yeah, we only have one more episode. For Shot Shiflet, he's Logan Crossland. You guys have a good night. Good day whenever you're listening.